Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about the latest regarding Rafael Leao, Nico Williams, Ansu Fati, and Eric Garcia. There has been a lot of talks about Barcelona reinforcing the left wing position, with Rafinha being the only player that is reliable on the left wing position. Of course, Barcelona are going to be eyeing for other left wingers in Europe. We're also going to be discussing the future of the striker position, because one thing is for sure, Lewandowski, while yes, he can score a couple of goals, he can be very inconsistent sometimes. Like, he can play good for 4 to 5 matches, but then 5 to 6 matches later, after that, he loses his form. And Barcelona need to be much more consistent in terms of that department. We need to be more consistent in scoring goals. The one thing that we do have under Hansi Flick is being able to create a lot of really good chances, but we just cannot find the cherry on top, as I always say. We need to be able to put the ball behind the net. Yes, it's strange for me to even talk about this, right? Because 2 months ago, Barcelona were the main talk of the town. Barcelona were beating Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, we beat Sevilla. Barcelona looked like the best team in the world alongside Liverpool, and we scored a lot of goals. It did not seem like Barcelona struggled with scoring 3+ goals per 90 minutes, but now it does seem like we're scoring 1 goal per 2 to 3 matches. So something has to be fixed, which is the reason why these rumors about maybe bringing in Erling Haaland, Jorge is coming up. So there's plenty for us to discuss, but first I do want to answer one very quick question coming from the Discord group chat. The username is called Artix. I don't know if I said that correctly. I mean, like, your name could be ArtIX or something like that, but I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly, but I'm gonna just say Artix. We have this guy over here on the Discord group chat, and he did ask, Kevin, what do you think we need to do so we can get back to winning? And what do you think is causing us to lose so many games and points? I personally don't feel like it's the team not being as hungry as they were before, because they played very well yesterday versus Atletico Madrid. So first things first, yes, you're right. Barcelona were very good against Atletico Madrid. All of us can agree on that, right? We cannot say that Barcelona played bad, that we couldn't create chances, that we were not passing the ball fast enough. Barcelona were doing all of that. Pedri was dictating the midfield. Gavi and Casado were making a lot of interceptions. We saw Rafinha make those runs behind the defense. We saw Alejandro Balde make great attacking plays. Kobarsi and Nico Martinez recover the ball as fast as possible to pass the ball back to either Casado or Pedri and to go over and over again on creating chances, right? Barcelona had a phenomenal game against Atletico Madrid. But like I've said before, the one thing that Barcelona is missing is to score the goals. If Hansi Flick, right, to answer your first question, if Hansi Flick wants to fix the situation that we are in, is that Barcelona need more reliable goal scorers. Rafinha needs to have more focus in goal, because if it's not going to be Lewandowski, it has to be Rafinha. Lewandowski has to be way more focused inside the box, because if it's not going to be Rafinha, it has to be Lewandowski. We also have the absence of Lamine Yamal. I do think that the reason why Barcelona did lose against Atletico Madrid 2-1 is because we did not have Yamal. And yes, I know it sounds strange for me to say that for somebody who's only like 17, 18 years old, but Yamal is that important. And Lamine Yamal also needs to have more improvement in his goal scoring form. He needs to reach a point where he can score at least 1 goal per 90 minutes, because if it's not going to be Lewandowski, it has to be Lamine Yamal. This whole team in general has to have the eye for goal. We cannot just continue to be like, okay, Pedri has the ball inside the box and then he wants to just pass it to another player. No, Pedri needs to shoot the ball. Gavi needs to shoot the ball. The level and concentration is what Barcelona need in the attack. You need to be 100% focused on what you're doing and what your environment looks like, because there has been so many times where we have seen here from the TV or from our laptops where we see an open opportunity to shoot the ball and to score the goal, but no, they want to outpass and make the play look beautiful. No, that cannot happen. The reason why Barcelona were successful against Madrid and Bayern 3 months ago was because Barcelona were much more clinical. Rafinha was able to score those goals against Bayern. Lewandowski was also in top form. Lamine Yamal always found those runs by Rafinha, making those key passes. That is what Barcelona is missing. This Barcelona team knows how to defend. They know how to make great through passes. We can move the ball forward in a great counter-attacking type of way, but we just don't have the eye for goal. Like, the reason why, right, you may ask, but Kevin, why would you say that Barcelona have a great defense when they have just conceded 2 goals against Atletico Madrid? The reason why Barcelona concede a lot is because we give the opposition the opportunity to be confident, because when they see that Barcelona have struggled in scoring goals, they're going to gain confidence and they're going to eventually find us out to get through our own defense. And that is how Barcelona end up conceding more goals than they should, because if Barcelona can score 2 or 3 goals within the first 40 minutes, that team, whoever it may be, Osasuna, Mallorca, Real Betis, whoever, Valencia, they're not going to believe that they can score 1 to 2 goals against us. They're not. They're going to be like, oh my God, we lost this. Like, we're going to try our best, but we'll see, because it almost seems like it's over. Barcelona have to kill the game. That is what's missing from Hansi Flick's Barcelona. We need to be able to kill the game in 40 minutes. And right now, Barcelona does not seem like they want that in general. Like, they look so loose in front of goal. Dani Olmo has to have much more accuracy in his shots. This team is good enough to destroy teams left and right. Like, this team is fully prepared. Dani Olmo is amazing. Gavi is is amazing. Pedri, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski, they're all amazing players and they can win La Liga. They can win the Champions League. But do these players want it enough? If Hansi Flick is setting up this team where we see Barcelona very organized, we're able to pass the ball around very fast, but we cannot find those goals, it is not Hansi Flick's fault. It is the players' fault for not being clinical in front of goal, because Hansi Flick cannot teach that. And so overall, since we are talking about this, right, I would say that since we have just completed the first half of the season and now we have another 4 to 5 months to go, I'm going to say that the first half of this season was a 7 out of 10. It was not an 8, it was not a 9. If Barcelona continued with that form that we saw back in October all the way until December, I would have put this at like a 9.5 out of 10. But because we have lost so many points in La Liga in the past 7 to 8 matches, it goes down all the way to a 7. Maybe I would almost, maybe like put a 6.5, but I'm gonna just be a little gentle and just say 7 out of 10, because Barcelona are currently in the top 3 within the Champions League table. Barcelona is still in the top 3 within the league. It's okay, right? It's not the end of the world. This team still has the opportunities to win titles. We can win the Super Cup. It's still very much possible. We can win the Copa del Rey. We can still win the Champions League. We have to fight for La Liga, which is the most important thing. So I know this is going to sound very surprising, but I am still very enthusiastic, optimistic about what Hansi Flick's Barcelona can do in the future. We just have to turn it around in the second half of the season. So now, moving away from this question, right? So let's talk about the big news. It says here, according to Albert, that Jorge Mendes is pushing very hard for Rafael Leao to go to FC Barcelona, but it's early to tell anything more. There are 4 to 5 other contenders in the left wing spot. Deco wants Luis Diaz, while Joan Laporta wants Leao or Nico Williams. So this is a very interesting case, because the fact that Jorge Mendes wants Leao to come to Barcelona, or Deco, the sporting director, wants Luis Diaz, or Joan Laporta wants Nico Williams, you can see that there's a lot of different opinions within this club. Now, the one question I do have is, what does Hansi Flick want? Like, okay, Jorge Mendes, the agent, wants Leao. Deco, the director, wants Luis Diaz. Joan Laporta wants Nico. But for the actual coach, right, Hansi Flick, what does he want? Who does he want on the left wing position? Because let me tell you, I know this is going to sound a little crazy coming from me, but I just want to say it because I really do have this big conspiracy. Because Hansi Flick is German and because he has coached Bayern Munich, I honestly think that low-key, and I know that there is no reports on here that is saying such thing, but I honestly think that Hansi Flick wants a Musiala. I know it sounds crazy. You're going to be like, oh, Kevin, you're just fantasizing. No, I don't think so. I think that when you look at the past few 10 years of coaches in general, usually where they're from is the type of players they want. Like, if you're American, you want American players. If you are German, you want German players. If you're Spanish, a Spanish coach, you want Spanish players. It's just how it is. You can call that favoritism, but no, I don't think so. I just think that having that type of strategic move does help you in terms of coaching the team better, because you're going to be able to better understand these players and you know these players on a personal level. Hansi Flick on a personal level knows Musiala, which is why I honestly think that there is some interest coming from Hansi, that he thinks in order to reinforce the left wing position, it is Musiala and only him. Yes, he's going to welcome players like Nico Williams, Leao, maybe Luis Diaz, but honestly, I believe that his top priority is Musiala, and I don't even think that he has no say in this, because as a coach, you have to listen to the sporting director. I mean, obviously, yes, they have conversations in the staff room and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the director and the president talk about, okay, who's available, who are we scouting, and how much are they? Can we afford them? You see how this kind of takes away the I would say the conversation for Hansi Flick, because Hansi Flick has no say. He does not know the economical department. He does not know about what they could and could not afford. He's not out there scouting so many players. That is Deco's position. And so honestly, if I was Hansi Flick, I would just state out plainly to Joan Laporta or Deco and say, bring me Musiala, and I only want a Musiala. The only coach that I know has this type of power to say, I want this player and only that player, is Pep Guardiola. Nobody else. Only Pep can say such things. But as for Hansi, I don't think that he has that type of power. So because we are in this situation, it does seem like it's either going to be Leao, Nico, or Luis Diaz. This whole thing about Luis Diaz in the conversation about reinforcing the left wing position is nothing new. We talked about this 6 months ago during the summer transfer window. We did say that Rafinha should leave, Luis Diaz should come in, or Luis Diaz and Rafinha should be fighting for the position on the left wing position. Let me tell you guys, Luis Diaz and Rafinha are two very similar players. Luis Diaz, yes, has better dribbling capabilities, right? He's on fire. That guy is freaking crazy. But I do think that Barcelona need a player that has more pace, a player that is good at running into space and dribbling with the ball, because Luis Diaz is one of those two things. He is good at dribbling with the ball. Rafinha is the one that can run into space. That is their specialties. I believe that if you bring someone like Leao, he has those two capabilities, which I think makes Leao the most ideal candidate to reinforce the left wing position, because if it's not going to be Musiala, then yes, it's going to be Leao. If Barcelona cannot bring in Leao, I would just say, okay, bring in Nico Williams. The last resort for me should be Luis Diaz. And of course, I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying this. This is just things that make a lot of sense. I would say Musiala because Hansi Flick has that relationship with him, and because that guy is just out of this world. World-class player. Having Musiala, Pedri, Lamine Yamal in the attack, bro, like get out of here. The league will be finished before it even started. But if not, Leao, because Leao is a athletic monster, somebody who can run into space, dribble with the ball. Those are going to be the reasons. Nico Williams, because he has the chemistry with Lamine Yamal, he knows Dani Olmo, he knows Pedri, he knows Casado and Gavi. The chemistry is automatically going to be starting from the get-go. And if it's not going to be Nico, then just bring in Luis Diaz, right? Luis Diaz does not have the chemistry, does not have the talent of Leao nor Musiala. As a matter of fact, Luis Diaz is like 28 years old. It's the last resort. Special player, but not the best and most ideal for FC Barcelona. We also do have Tony Juan Marty stating that Nico Williams would like to join FC Barcelona, but I don't know if Barcelona is still interested. I have no idea. I feel like the ship has sailed. Barcelona is moving on. There is now much better options going into the summer of 2025 compared to the summer of 2024. So stepping away from that, now let's also talk about Ansu Fati and Eric Garcia, because speaking about the left wing, we do have a player that was supposed to be the next big time player after Messi, and it was supposed to be Ansu Fati. But at the moment, it does seem like Ansu Fati will be leaving in the summer of 2025. It says here, according to Albert, that Ansu Fati and Eric Garcia will 100% be leaving Barcelona in the summer of 2025. Now here's the thing. Recently, Fernando Polo also claimed Ansu Fati has asked Barcelona to allow him to train at the club facilities during the holidays. Barcelona have thus made many things available to him, like physiotherapists, doctors, and trainers. He wants to be decisive in the second half of the season, and so let's see, right? Because I do think that this is going to be Ansu Fati's last chance to really make an impression to not just Hansi Flick, but to Barcelona in general. Ansu Fati has to score goals. He needs to be giving out assists. Yes, I know that he does not get the chances that he wants, mainly because of injuries or because Hansi Flick chooses Rafinha over Ansu all the time, or Ferran Torres over Ansu all the time. But for Ansu, right, every time he does step in and he gets those 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, he has to make it count. He cannot just come in there and be like, okay, I'm just going to try just a little bit because I'm going to be having another chance in the next game. No, Ansu Fati has to say, okay, I have to score a goal. I have to. If I'm given 10 minutes, I have to score a goal, because if not, I will leave. And I do think that in the end, Ansu Fati will leave. Yes, because of sporting reasons, and yes, especially because of financial reasons. As for Eric Garcia, it does not surprise me. I mean, like, it's kind of crazy for us to say that Eric Garcia will leave in the summer of 2025 with all these reports when you just saw Eric Garcia go into the midfield before Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong was not even considered against Atletico Madrid. It was Eric Garcia who went into the midfield when it should have been Frankie, because Frankie is actually a midfielder and Eric Garcia is not. So to hear that Eric Garcia is 100% going to be leaving to Barcelona in 2025 does not really make a lot of sense to me, unless this is also information that Eric Garcia and Frankie for sure will be leaving in the summer of 2025, because you cannot say that Eric Garcia will for sure leave and Frankie is not when you have Hansi Flick choosing Eric Garcia over Frankie. But now let's move on towards the striker position, because it states here, according to Albert yet again, that the only way Barcelona would try to sign a top striker next summer is if Lewandowski leaves. If so, Barcelona would like to go for someone like Erling Haaland or Jokeres. The club anyways has Jonathan David under their radar, although others are behind them too. So to me, in my opinion, I think that it should be Erling Haaland over Jokeres. I know that there is this whole saying about, no, Kevin, you cannot say that because Erling Haaland doesn't do anything with Man City. No, dude, it is Man City that sucks. It is not Erling Haaland that sucks. You put Messi in that Man City team right now, Messi would not do anything. Trust me, that's just how football works, right? Like, you can have the best freaking wheels, top premium wheels on your car, but if you don't have the gasoline, you're not going to do anything with that car. So the same thing is going on with Erling Haaland in Man City. I honestly think that Barcelona should bring Erling Haaland no matter what he does. I don't care if he scores negative 10 goals, if that even makes any sense. You bring in Haaland, you bring in a strong FC Barcelona. Imagine Haaland, Lamine Yamal with Rafinha and Olmo up top. That's an amazing sporting project, and you can build on top of that, because honestly, with Lewandowski, like I've said before, this guy is super inconsistent. Yes, he is our top goal scorer. Yes, he still scores goals, but we need him in the most important times during the season. Like in the match against Atletico Madrid, where was Lewandowski? Yes, it's true that he did come up for the match against Bayern and Real Madrid, but we need more from him. I believe that having someone like Erling Haaland, who is more athletic, with more energy, more hunger to win, would really put Barcelona a step above. What Barcelona need right now is a number 9 that can run, and I mean run. I mean like a striker that can run behind the defensive line. Lewandowski cannot do that. Every time Rafinha looks for those through passes, or Pedri or Lamine Yamal looks for the through passes in the middle, we actually expect for Lewandowski to make those runs behind the defense, but he cannot do that. His body does not allow him to do that. He is much more of a person that sits inside the box and waits for the perfect opportunity to score goals. Erling Haaland is a runner, somebody who can run behind the defensive line and meet those through passes by Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. So I do think that from a sporting standpoint, Erling Haaland is the most ideal signing. But now that's where things get very, interesting, right? Because if you're telling me that Barcelona want to be ambitious for the next season after this one, you're going to tell me that we're going to try and go for Leao, for example, and Erling Haaland in the same summer? Because at the moment, based off what we have heard, I don't even think Barcelona's finances are there yet. Like, yes, maybe in the future, maybe in in about 4 to 5 years Barcelona can do that, but there's been no evidence right now that Barcelona have the capability to sign such players like Leao and Erling Haaland. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something that we don't know between the Nike deal and Barcelona that has not been announced yet until, like, let's just say March 2025. But at the moment, based off the information that we have been hearing, Barcelona are very close with the signing of Leao and they want to reinforce the striker position. But if you want to reinforce the striker position, you have to go big or go home. There is no way, my friends, that we let go of Lewandowski and we bring in Jonathan David. Barcelona have to go for something bigger, and that has to be Erling Haaland. So it has to be Haaland and Leao, or it has to be Gyökeres and Nico Williams. No matter what it is, it's a lot of money. But Barcelona clearly are weakened within those positions. Yes, we have great starters, but sometimes those starters can either be inconsistent, like Lewandowski, or sometimes that starter, Rafinha, may not always be 100% available. So it is so mandatory to reinforce the left wing position with either Leao and reinforce the striker position with Erling Haaland. But can Barcelona do that? We'll see. That is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.